gonna send out the stream link and actually realize that we're live. Hopefully that does happen. So shortly here. So round 7. Time for us to watch Tier 2 around Kyoto. It's yeah. So round 7, 2 from the end. And this one's gonna be an absolute banger, I think. Kyoto is it's certainly a very interesting track. Especially Yamagiwa plus Miyabi. It does. It's got a lot to it. This track also had a lot in terms of the tire wear. So there is realistically a scenario here where 2 stops may become prominent. We might see some people 1 stop this this sprint race here that we've got. Well, we're just about to get underway with. Go about 5 past, so run through the grid and then get going. But yeah. So, we've got Tier 2 now, Tier 5 immediately afterwards. And then after that, I'll do some Blue Moon practice. So we've got Blue Moon, the final race of the season tonight as well. Tier 1 stream for that will go live later on and watch Vexed commentate the Tier 1 stream. But yeah, the title right now is hanging in the balance, but going out of the 6th race into race 7th, the dude has the advantage here against Bodnian and against Honey Badger. Honey Badger, the closest one, the 2 mercs, the guys that are posing the threat right now. So let's see whether or not things are going to change, and whether or not we get a champion crown today. But yeah, we'll see how everything is going to unfold for the next hour and a half here in Tier 2. And yeah, so 7 laps of Kyoto in the sprint, and then I believe it's like 17 laps of Kyoto or something like that, 17, 18, or I can't fully remember, in the feature. As per normal, for the rest of the season as well. We have the qualifying that sets up the grid for this one. You can see Honey Badger is the guy that's on pole today. And, well, the result of the sprint flips the grid for the start of the feature race and so forth and so forth. The 15-minute sprint, 40-minute race. And I think we're going to get started a little bit now. We're going to start running through the grid because it is now 5 past 1. We have been live for about 5 minutes. So that means we've given people time to join the stream. And if you have chose to join us live, then I appreciate you. Let's get going. So we've got Honey Badger on pole. Perry in second. Perry's actually decided to show up in qualifying over the last couple of weeks, so took him a while, but he has in fact actually decided to do something with the season. Bosnian in third, which is not the greatest side for the Vipers when you have a Merc 1-3. And you've got a Viper in fourth, the dude, current championship leader, sitting himself in 4th on the grid. Then you got Asseldor, who is in 5th. Ross in 6th. The 2 Porsche doing pretty well after qualifying as well. Tepos in 7th. Faxid in 8th. Turbo Boy in 9th. Dan the Man in 10th. He might struggle today, given that Kyoto is not the greatest track for straight line for cornering. As you can tell from the track map, it's got a ton of heavy braking zones. Nectar in 11th, Chris in 12th, and Mortal in 13th. And with that, let's go. Let's get this started. Everyone on the soft tyres, I'm pretty sure. Hold on, let's just double check that. Softs is mediums actually for Bosnian, but I think at the same time that Bosnian also had a problem with the fact that he qualified on softs and switched to medium, so he got himself 30 seconds tacked on, I'm pretty sure. It's softs or the rest of most of the grid, actually. Then there's mediums there for Chris and for Mortal, which is an interesting choice. But we've got 5 red lights. It's lights out, and away we go down towards turn 1. The Porsche start does not give Perry much of an advantage here whatsoever. He drops to 4th immediately. We go down into turn 1, and the dude hits the lead of this race down through turn 1. Is there going to be anything here? As he gets past Honey Badger, then Bosnian's still in 3rd. So Bosnian didn't really make much of the start. Honey Badger did, and almost got the lead into turn 1. But the dude in 4th just had a lightning quick start. As we continue to walk through down towards turn 4 on the first lap, and Honey Badger's gone very deep there. Got very deep, and he still holds on against Bosnian. Doesn't get past dude. We got anything happening further back? It doesn't look like it. I think actually Mortal's gone around, so we're actually going to go back very quickly and see if anything what has happened. Oh, that did not look good. That did not look good. It might have been Nectar and Mortal here. Let's go. Let's see. We go around the first corner. Oh no, Mortal's just got it all wrong. Oh, Mortal just got it all sorts of wrong. Oh no. On the grass, and as soon as you get on the grass there, you're not going to recover very well in the slightest. There's not really a place you can recover from the turn 1 grass. As we continue now into, well, out of the first sector of what I think 5 or 6 in this lap. It's about a 2 minute, it's 2 minutes something lap this race. It looked like Honey Badger trying to go around the outside, doesn't get it. And the dude will continue to lead. What has happened at the back here? What is going on? We'll have a look. We're going to continue to look down the hill here. Something has happened. Something really... Oh, Chris has tapped Ross. Chris has tapped Ross round. It's also collecting Nectar the entire thing as well. Oh, that is not good. Well, there goes another 3 drivers in this race, and that is not how you want to do it at all. Ross getting tapped around there by Chris. Mortal made a mistake earlier on. Nectar got collected as well in the middle there. So that's 4 drivers being hindered by the start of by mistakes at the start of this race. So you got our Faxon now on the inside of Asseldor, who's going to go around the outside, try and hold it, and isn't going to get it. Gone way too deep, and our Faxon up in the 5th. Albeit momentarily, because he's made a mess of the hill. He made a mess of that last bit of chicane. And here comes Asseldor to the inside now to try and get 5th back. And maybe even Tepos now on the inside of our Faxon. And that's exactly what's happened here. They're now side by side coming into the final chicane on the lap. Tepos is still here. Our Faxon on the inside is going to hold him off though. And our Faxon drops to 6 and holds on to 6 as well. And that is a Turbo Boy in the background, who is facing the wrong way. And that is not good news for the RCZs. As Turbo Boy is now fitted. Turbo Boy is facing the wrong way, and he has not enjoyed this season much at all. It's not been a good time for Turbo Boy in the slightest. So we'll see whether or not he can rebound next season. His season is effectively over with that spin. As we're going to continue through. We're on the second lap of 7 now. And Tepos is getting fought with, by Dan, the man in the back there. Faxon is still trying to catch up to Hasseldor, who's got Bosnian right in front of him. Perry up into third as well. And at the front, we've got the dude heading off against Honey Badger. Given the fact that the dude currently has the lead of the championship, Honey Badger needs to make a little bit of something work here in the next 5 or 6 laps. The dude looks to extend in this sprint race. We continue to go through. Dude is still in the lead. And we've got Bodnian versus Hasseldor in the background there. I thought it was Perry, but Perry's on his own. And now Bodnian is trying to defend from Hasseldor. Hasseldor is trying to make a run for this. Can he get himself into the top 4? He's got a better run out of the, I think that's the 4th sector. Or out the end of the 3rd sector actually, than Bodnian did. But Bodnian just doing enough to cover it off. And Bodnian has managed to hold off Hasseldor. A little bit of contact between the two as they went through the chicane there. And there was chicane before the hill, but I don't think it's much of anything at all. As we now go through into the final sector of the lap. On lap 2 here, Bodnian heading off Hasseldor for 4th and 5th right now. Faxon's still there as well. Dan the man dropped heavily off the back of Tepos, who currently sits in 7th. And Hasseldor looks to the outside of Bodnian now. Will he get it? The outside line to that is just not a good line. It is not going to be good enough to get past Bodnian at all. And Bodnian is going to stick to 4th for now. Here comes the slipstream though. And possibly a position here for Hasseldor down the inside of turn 1. And no, Bodnian just does enough to close the door. Or close the door momentarily as Hasseldor is still on the inside. He's still there, he's still lingering. Can he get himself? No, he cannot. No, he cannot. Bodnian does a very, very good job of getting a good enough run. Faxon, however, is all over the place behind. And you got Tepos right on the back of him now. As we now head into the 2nd sector of the lap. We'll head towards the end of the 2nd sector of the lap now. Down the hill we go. Perry currently has the fastest lap, 15.2. As we see Hasseldor, trying to go to the inside of Bodnian. It looks like he's got it momentarily. Will he get into the following corner? He will. Hasseldor with a nice little move there to the inside of the bottom of the hill. And gets himself through on Bodnian, who's dropped down to 5th now. Back to clearing Tepos a little bit behind as well. We go further back, you can stand the man next to Ross in 10th, who got spanned by Chris early on. And Chris currently sits in 11th, Turbo Boy after his spin in 12th, and Mortal has apparently not shown up as he sits himself in 13th right now. So the dude, his teammate, however, leads the race through, 2.5, about to be 3. Will he be able to hold off Honey Badger for much longer? The tyres are going to become a factor in this. You see the dude's already at halfway, and we're only on lap 3. You got Perry in this as well. Perry looking for something here against Honey Badger. This could be really good news for the dude if Perry can force a move there and act as a bit of a buffer. We got a decent gap forming between the top 3 and then Hasseldor in 4th. As we're currently split into little packs, maybe a train if you want to call it that. You got the dude, and then we've got Honey Badger and Perry here in a little train down towards turn 1 for the lead of this race. And then you've got the battle for 4th there. You've got Hasseldor. Here comes Honey Badger, who looked to the inside there. I think he may have done a little bit of a push to pass. It looked like contact, but he got through nonetheless. He's got through nonetheless, and Honey Badger now leads this race here at Kyoto. I don't think that was the cleanest of ways to get by, I'll say that much. They're trying to go on trying to make a move on the closing door is never usually the answer. We got Perry just sat behind him, biding his time. It's like Perry stalking his prey here. Looks to the outside against the dude who's still trying to fight back on Honey Badger, who took the lead in the beginning of lap 4. And now if this was to end like this, I don't think you would be complaining an awful lot. It's the sprint. This would be what, 3 points lost an absolute max. I think this would be I don't think this would be a bad day, bad sprint race for the dude. I don't think, because if it was to stay as it was, you got Bodnian versus Assador behind. Is there going to be anything here for Bodnian, who's got substantially better tyres than the RCZ does? Here comes Bodnian. Is he going to be able to use that tyre advantage down the straight? No, he's not. Assador's going to hold him off for just a little while longer. As we continue, we're about halfway through this race now. Assador with a little bit of a slide there through the chicane. As they come up the hill. And it's not going to impact his position an awful lot there. But it is going to impact how close he is to the front pack. Perry getting a little bit of the grass there. Also have a few battles going on at the back here as well. Our backs are dropping to 7th. And is fighting down the man, and now our Nectar here as well. Not sure what happened to our Faxon, but our Faxon dropping down. And he's gone deep! He's gone deep! Our Faxon's in the grass, and there goes down the man, and I think Nectar might be about to go by too, and he will. Our Faxon in the grass. Ross has also spun again, and Mortal's on his about 15th spin of the race as a whole. It's absolutely impressive how many spins Mortal's had at the beginning of this one. As Perry goes past on the dude, and Perry gets up to 2nd, and the dude goes off the track and is on the grass and somehow managed to save that car. That car looked like it was going sideways all the way there, but he somehow saved that. And he's got more than enough of a gap to the guys that are trying to catch him up behind. He should still be fine as long as he doesn't make more mistakes here. Peugeot running out of tyres as well. I think so. That means that the Mercedes should be able to start making some inroads, because it still has a ton of tyre left. Here comes Bodnian to the outside of Assador. And Assador is just not giving him an inch of room to try and make a move here. It's perfect defending here from Assador. Right between the lines and putting his car in every position possible that Bodnian just cannot do anything about this. This first 5 laps has been an absolute masterclass of defending from Assador through this race so far, and it's still going to continue as they go for a sweeping left-hander. And Bodnian, even though he's got a significant tyre advantage, just cannot do anything about it. Assador again holding Bodnian off for just a little while longer as we head up through a hairpin now, the chicane as well. And they're still pretty much rear bumper to front bumper between the two of them right now. And Assador is still putting his car in every position possible to stop Bodnian doing something. Will Bodnian finally get a move? No, he will not. He tried to the outside, but again, Assador just proving too strong through the first 5 laps to do anything about this. And Bodnian, who could have been at the front, realistically, could have been challenging here, ended up just being stumped at the moment by Assador, who's just absolutely controlling his race here. There's the dude in front. You got Perry, and then you've got, I think that's Honey Badger directly in front of that, at the front of the grid right now. Here comes Bodnian to the inside of Assador. Maybe just the gig might be up now. And on the outside is Assador with no tyres, and the gig is finally up for Assador. Bodnian gets by after what must have felt like an eternity behind Assador there, and now Bodnian's going to have to try and use his tyres. He's got the extra lap and some change here to try and go after the dude. Tepos here as well, but he's pretty much out of tyres. That car though, I actually really do like the delivery that Tepos has got on his car this time. The Japanese kind of hints and everything like that is actually a pretty nice touch. Might actually be one of my favourites on this grid at this point in time. We've got a three-way battle for 7th right now. We got Dan the Man, Faxon and Nectar all here in the in a train for 7th right now. I think there's someone might be trying to tack himself on. Chris is trying to tack himself onto the train. Isn't really doing much of it at the moment. Also Nectar slowly but surely losing off the battle here. He can still see the two in front, but he isn't getting very far. You know, still got Bosnian versus, well, Bosnian has very much cleared Asseldor now and heading towards the dude. And Bosnian, for the sake of his teammate, if nothing else, needs to get past the dude here, so his teammate can start to close the gap. As we continue on in this race, we're on lap 6, this is going to be the second to last lap here. We've gone through 13 minutes of the sprint race. As we continue to roll on here. Dude doing enough to hold off Bosnian right now. We saw Asseldor do one hell of a job to hold off Bosnian earlier on as well. So Bosnian just getting himself in a defensive masterclass around him right now. Tepos also trying to get himself outside of Asseldor's reach. Well, outside of Asseldor's defense is probably a better way of putting it, because Asseldor is the car in front of Tepos right now for 5th place. And you can see up in the distance. We currently have this on the screen though, Dan the Man versus our Faxon. And Dan the Man is doing a pretty good job here in the Supra. Albeit that tyre, front right tyre, is very, very dead, which is very surprising for this car. Car that usually has a ton better tyre than that. We'll see what is going to happen. Oh, and our Faxon in the wall! Our Faxon just piled into a wall that has damage. And that might bring Nectar into this. We got Bosnian on the inside of the dude now, and Bosnian going past the dude, and that is not good news for the dude who's going to fire back up the inside. I think there might have been a slight bit of contact there, but the dude gets by on Bosnian. It looked like a little bit of a tap on the rear corner, but it's still going to be a move done by the dude to return on the attack, well, on the move by Bosnian. That he did a couple of corners prior. Bosnian's got all the tyres in the world compared to the dude. They're going to go side by side. They've got about 4 or 5 meaningful corners left after this double that the hairpin that they're doing now into the chicane, and the dude is still heading off against Bosnian right now. Honey Badger leads from Perry. And then you got dude in 3rd, Bosnian in 4th. Bosnian's running out of time to make a move on the dude here, but he's gonna go to the inside of the dude. He's gonna go on the inside of the dude there, and he's got it. I think he's definitely a little bit of contact on the way through as well, but it's still very, very, very good move there for Bosnian, who picked his spot and made sure that his spot was not going to be changed, and definitely took advantage of that. And here we go, down to the line in the sprint race goes Honey Badger, and he can see it now. He can see his sprint win over the line. He beats Perry. Perry gets 2nd, Bosnian gets 3rd, dude gets 4th, and the championship lead just shrunk. Asseldor gets 5th, Tepos gets 6th. Dan the Man is going to get himself dragging himself over in 7th. They are back to the 8th. Nectar in 9th, Ross in 10th somehow, Chris in 11th, Turbo Boy in 12th, and Mortal half a lap back in 13th. Mortal just did not get going at all in this sprint race. I think he had more spins than he did laps completed. As we go to the end of go toward the end of this race now, end of the sprint race now. And there you go, that's the end of the sprint. Mortal coming over the line in last. And yeah, so dude ends up in 4th, Bosnian in 3rd, Perry in 2nd, and Honey Badger in 1st, and that is that's the main storyline point at the moment, realistically. The dude ending in 4th. Honey Badger ending in first, which is not good news as the title gets to, well, the lead at the top of the title now shrinks ever further with 3 races to go now. This one we're about to watch, and then the 2 at Blue Moon later on today. Right, let's see if we can. No, I want to do. Don't want to do styles. I want to do replays, so that I can get. So I can have a sneezing fit. Apparently, that's apparently how we're doing this. Just having a quick message conversation in the moment and just figure some things out. But yeah, so Tier 2. Hello. How are you doing? How are you doing? Time to watch ALR instead of focusing on school. God damn it, Kanata. Just in school. Fair enough. Fair enough. Alright, so we know the grid here, the reverse from the actual race finish. If you weren't here for the race finish earlier on, Mortal is the one that will start on a reverse grid pole because Mortal, well, quite frankly, had more spins than he did race laps completed in the actual sprint race. And you got Turbo Boy, so he's going to start on the medium tires, Turbo Boy on the mediums as well in the RCZ. Starting in second could be a good race for him. Chris in third on the mediums as well. And you got Ross in the Porsche. There is so much. That's you can't be bothered to do this as an assignment, and you're watching this instead. There's so much wrong with that. I'm not gonna condone it, but it's funny. It's funny. So we got Nectar on the BMW in fifth on the medium tires as well. The Ross and the Porsche in the medium tires could be a very, very interesting one by the end of this. Everyone starting on the medium, I believe. So you got Baxter in sixth, Dan in seventh, Tepos in eighth, Asseldor in ninth, Dude in 10th, Bodnian in 11th, Perry in 12th, and Honey Badger in 13th. All right, so everyone's set up. We've gone through the tires. We've gone through everyone, where everyone is on the grid. It's time to hit a 40-minute race here for Tier 2. The third to last race of the season as a whole, the second to last round. Here we go at Kyoto, and Mortal gets us underway. Down towards turn 1 unchallenged. Turbo Boy didn't look like he got the greatest of start there. Chris will be going after him straight away. Also, Ross getting a good start on the rolling start with the Porsche, which looks like that's the case of that car. Bad on the standing starts, but great on the rolling starts, and needs to take advantage of those while he can. So we're continuing down towards turn, I think that's turn 4, turn 5 actually. As we go, Chris on the outside here against Turbo Boy. Will this happen? No, it will not. Chris has gone too far wide, if anything, and has made sure that there's not really an opportunity down the hill. And now we're going to go to the outside here as well, and that means Turbo Boy's going to hold the position because it's going on the outside of this. Whilst it would be great if you can hold it, given the fact that the following corner gives you the inside line, it just isn't happening. You need to have one hell of a run, and I believe that's a yellow flag back there, and we're going to check that out just in case. I think I saw a yellow flag pop up on the monitor. We're just going to see this. Honey Badger against Perry in the back here as well. These two fighting it out. Who's the yellow flag? If there is in fact a yellow flag. Is there a yellow flag? No, it doesn't look like it. It just looks like I saw something in the background there that didn't actually a monitor. Oh well. So we don't have a yellow flag. No one's spun out. And Bosnia versus Asador is going to be another fight here. Dude is in 9th, Tepos 8th, Dan the Man in 7th right now. It looks like we've got a few guys just trying to push it through, just trying to get their way through right now. Here comes Tepos and Dan the Man. Tepos to the inside of Dan the Man. Can he get it? He's got alongside, and Dude's going to follow through the hole, and Dude is going to try this against the Super 97. A little bit of contact between the two up the hill, as the Super 97 tries to desperately defend his position. And does hold on to that with by the skin of his teeth in the end. Oh, and the Dude's a little bit of a tap there on Dan the Man, and we've got a yellow flag, and that's Mortal again. Mortal again, and we'll see. He was in the lead. Let's see what happened to him this time. Oh, that's grass. That's grass. Yep, you don't want to be doing that. You don't want to be doing that. There's a lot of grass as we saw Dude and Dan the Man come together there. Dan the Man stayed in front. Dude up into 8th, Bosnian overtakes Asador as these two are going at it again, and Bosnian's off the track now! I think that was a little bit of a pinch there from Asador. But Bosnian's now off the track as well, and now we've got like an absolute just pile on at the back here. 4 or 5 cars right beside each other, going down the straight, and Honey Badger is at the back of this. We've got Dan the Man who leads this run, and Honey Badger now going to the outside. I think he might be able to have a chance here. Asador dropping behind Honey Badger for now. Honey Badger getting squeezed a little bit to the outside, but not able to do anything about it right now. There's just 5 cars just right beside each other, all of them battling for position right now, and Honey Badger just getting past Asador in the first couple of corners, and we can probably clip that and put that as a shot. I think Dan the Man just got squeezed off the track a little bit, and I think Dude gets by as a result. I think he may have just squeezed Dan the Man a little bit. Dan the Man gets a little bit all over the place again, and that will now allow us to have the Dude versus Honey Badger, the big battle. The final boss, so to speak, of battles in this tier. Right now, the Dude leads the championship. Honey Badger currently sits in 2nd. The Dude beating Honey Badger here would be absolutely catastrophic for Honey Badger going into Blue Moon. We'll see if that's the case. You've got Perry in 7th starting to work his way through as well. Everyone is just right up against each other. And then back here, and Asador pushes past Honey Badger and lets it by. Oh, and he gets it wrong. Asador just gets that wrong. He lets it by, which is good sportsmanship at the end. But oh my God, that might come into play later on. A little bit of a push. He did manage to save. Oh, never mind. I was about to say he did manage to save him. But again, Honey Badger is in the wall, and Honey Badger is having a really bad day of this. I think, Mortal has already quit out, so we're down to 12, and there goes Bosnian, and the Mercs are having a nightmare. Let's have a quick look at what just happened to Bosnian and him and Dan the Man going against each other. Oh, I think there might have been a touch there. Not entirely sure. That looked weird. Wasn't a corner, nobody was turning in, it was just, I think he got caught, and Dan the Man seems to think he was the one who caught him, so Bosnian goes on through. Honey Badger's there as well. Honey Badger's made a couple of mistakes, Dan the Man made a mistake, Bosnian's made a mistake now, mistake or two now, and we're going through, and this is a prime opportunity for Dude to do something. to open up his championship lead again. Absolute prime opportunity to get through and do something here. Perry, oh, there goes Nectar off the track. Again, we're going to get a better look at this. Nectar just piled off the track there. See what happened. He just got it. Oh, too much turning. Way too much turning the car. Yeah, BMW's just going to say nope to that one. Oh, that's not good news for Nectar, who's now back on the track as Bodnian approaches. And the dude is now up to 7th in this championship battle with Tepos and Perry directly in front of him. If he can make something work here, so we'll have some 2 stops versus some 1 stops. We'll see whether or not things are going to be able to just work. Yeah, I agree. Tepos' livery is actually really good. I think it might be my favourite one on the track currently. But yeah, so we continue on. There's not an awful lot happening at the front. We're going through the midfield, see if people can carry themselves through. Perry's up into 5th now, as he almost lost his car to the grass there. So, Honey Badger is in 10th now. He's got past Dan the Man, he got past Nectar as well. He started to work his way back through after the Asador incident. Here comes Dan the Man onto the inside of Honey Badger. Can he make it work? No, he cannot. He got a little bit too much slidey out of the final part of that chicane, and it was not going to be enough for him in the end. We've got Ross and Chris that are fighting at the front as well. Our faction currently splits Ross and his teammate Perry between 3rd and 5th in the grid right now, and you've got Tapos and the dude. So we're down to 12 people. Mortal quit immediately. And there goes Turbo Boy a bit deep there into the final corner, or out of the final corner should I say, and he's still leading this race. We'll see whether or not he can actually continue to do so. We've got we're on to lap 4 now, as Ross is currently still sat behind Chris and Turbo Boy. Our Baxter still in 4th. Perry is closing in rapidly. You got Tapos on his own little world at the moment, and the dude needs to start heading toward this front pack sooner rather than later, because he needs the gap. He needs all the sort of gap he can possibly get right now on Honey Badger, who is starting to close back in. You know, Asador in 8th. Dude's getting a little bit slidey there. Asador in 8th, Bodnian in 9th. You got Honey Badger in 10th. The Mercs trying to recover from an awful start. As we are continuing on in this race, the Mercs kind of lucky there. Their mistakes came at the start. Watch, rather than right at the end, the mistake right at the end would be absolutely crushing. And I see that Ross has said don't watch that. Well, that is foreshadowing at its finest. We're going to currently look to see if anything's happening towards the front. Here comes Perry against our faction. Still got the 3 at the front trying to fight it out as well. Perry on our faction. Can Perry use the slipstream here to get down into the corner alongside? He's going to try it. He's on the inside now of our faction, who goes deep. Shouldn't have let Perry in there. Definitely shouldn't have let Perry go for the move, because Perry is now on through. Our faction could have closed the door, should have closed the door on Perry there. Decided not to. In turn, is going to pay the price for not doing so. And Perry is now up to 4th. And Ross got past Chris as well in the process there. We'll see whether or not how long it's going to take Perry to head his way towards the front. As we are currently on lap 4, about to head into lap 5 of this race. Currently a quarter of the way through. As we go down toward turn 1 once again, Ross is trying to catch up with Turbo Boy, who's got him very deep there into the first corner. The tyres actually a bit better than Ross's right now. You know, Chris and Perry, who's in 4th, and we'll see whether or not everyone's going to be able to move towards the front as we go along. Our faction's still here as well. And we've got Tapos and the dude, and then how close is Asseldor? Asseldor is really close, but Bosnian is closer to Asseldor now. Bosnian's going to try and go around the outside here against the RCZ, and it's not going to work. Asseldor once again putting up a stout defense of Bosnian, who must be absolutely sick of seeing the rear of that RCZ. Especially around Kyoto, he must have had nightmares about this car after this, when he went to sleep after this race. There's no way he didn't. Being that he has spent literally 3/4 of everything we've watched right now staring at the back of Asseldor's car. He's looking to go around the outside this time. He's looking to not make the same mistake as he did the first time round, in which he needed to God damn it. Wow, okay, that's a good one. Yeah, and again, Bosnian just not able to get past Asseldor as he is still looking at the back of the RCZ. It's just not going too well for the Mercs right now. Dude doing enough to extend that lead back up, and pretty much the same amount that closed about 3 or 4 minutes ago, but not 3 or 4 minutes, about 30 and 40 minutes ago at the end of the sprint. It looked like Ross may have had a bit of a problem there. We're going to actually have a quick look to see what happened here. Ross going after Turbo Boy down into the chicane. Oh, yeah, it's the line. He just got it wrong. And so did Turbo Boy. So did Turbo, who's got a bit of a wonky exit there. And here comes Chris and Perry. Perry on the inside of Chris now, battling for second in this race. There's already one mistake chalked up for Ross. Perry looking to take advantage. And Chris as well. And they now head down towards turn 1. Turbo Boy also made the same mistake. Can they get close enough to Turbo Boy to make anything happen here? Chris has managed to get in front of Perry for now. Perry looking for a switchback. Won't get the switchback because Chris is going to get the door and slam it shut. And there's a lot that is unfolding here. We continue to watch on here. Lap 6. Turbo Boy just getting a bit deep and getting a better exit than Chris. Managing to hold on to the lead as a result. Chris is right alongside him now. We know the outside line here is you've got to do one hell of a job to hang it on the outside because there's no real overtaking opportunity if you don't. And Chris might have just been one of those that managed to do it, but he switched to the outside for some reason, and that will allow for Perry. That will allow for Perry to do the inside. And Perry getting a much better run. And Chris there. Chris had the opportunity. Chris had the opportunity to stick to the inside and overtake Turbo Boy there, but just doesn't get it. Perry now to the inside on Turbo Boy, who goes very deep. And Terry is going to take full advantage of multiple mistakes in a couple of corners there to drive on into the lead of this race. Here comes Turbo Boy to the inside. Will Turbo Boy defend this back? Turbo Boy will get back in front with the inside line, and Turbo Boy takes back the leader of the race almost immediately. And this is back and forth between the front four now. Faxon also not losing much in terms of ground on the rest of the grid as well. And then you've got Tepos in 6th, Dude in 7th, and Asseldor is still in 8th, which means Bodnian is still having a hard time. Bodnian is still having one hell of a hard time back there. You saw in the background, those two went side by side into the chicane there, and Asseldor still coming out on top. And Turbo Boy is loving the wide line in basically every available corner here. And Perry is just trying to take the inside line to get things done. And there's a pit here from Perry, a pit from Turbo Boy. I think Perry may have just overtaken him into the pits actually. And Ross also dives in as well. Let's see if we can get any battles currently out on track. Yeah, we're going to go straight back to Asseldor versus Bodnian because Asseldor is in control of this one against Bodnian, albeit Bodnian is probably the quicker car. Dude has also been dragged into this battle, and we can see Honey Badger in the distance. When you see Honey Badger in the distance and this being the title battle, It's not a good time. Here comes Asador, looks to the inside against the dude, but in turns at the same time battling against Bodnian. And a little bit of a squeeze there from Asador is enough to hold on to that position for dear life. It's rough, it's rough defending, but it's still legal defending. And it's absolutely on the line, but you can call it great. You can, depending on how you view defending as a whole. Some will see it as great, some will see it as a little bit aggressive, some may see it as over the line, but it's still absolutely outstanding defending through 6 from Asador here. Asador now defending to the inside again against Bodnian. Bodnian has the outside run. Can he get himself alongside enough to make sure that he actually gets a move done? He is alongside, but I'm not sure he's alongside enough, but he had the inside line, heading down into the corner here, into the hairpin, and this should be enough for him to get the move done on Asador. And he had the inside line still, and he finally gets the move done on Asador after a ton of laps here, where Bodnian was sat at the back of the RCZ. Bodnian finally gets let loose. Asador put up one hell of a defense there against Bodnian again. I'm pretty sure you could ask him. You could ask Asador in chat why he's called Bodnian Knight. And did you got a yellow flag? We've got a yellow flag. That, I believe, is our Faxon, who was in the lead of this race. I don't know how the hell that happened. They got Chris and Faxon, both the Jaguars actually fighting it into the last sector here. Chris went very deep, which is what allowed our Faxon to take the lead of the race. Ever so slightly tinted cars, one in the lime green, one in the yellow here between our Faxon and Chris. And our Faxon, oh, just plows into the wall. Oh, and he collects Chris and Tepos as well. He collected Chris and Tepos at the same time. Chris went off the track. Tepos was unfortunately basically stopped dead, and in comes the dude to try and overtake, to try and make something happen here. And now, well, never mind, literally every other person on the grid right now is just all dove into the pit. So out comes the Porsche. Let's see where everyone lies here. Our Baxter dropped to 9th, but I think our Baxter might be about to pit as well. There you go, and now we are now in the position where it's the Porsche's turn. Ross leads from Perry in this race. Also looks like everyone is doing a 2 stop in this race as well. Nectar's trying to keep it going. Nectar's done well to give 8 laps of medium tyres. Boy on the soft now as well. Dude is in front of Tepos. Dude is in front of Tepos, so that's a position gained. And another position buffer in between him and Honey Badger. Honey Badger who got ahead of Chris and Asador way in the background now. And oh my god, Asador is once again ahead of Bodnian. He cannot be serious. Bodnian must have made a mistake. Asador factored in 11th now. He's on soft and on mediums as well. On mediums at the moment now as well. So we've got Ross and Perry. And it was about, I think it was about this time, I don't know. At some point in this race, Ross brags about being 0.2. Ow, I nearly dropped the remote and nearly ripped my nail off in the process as well, trying to catch it. That hurt. Yeah, at some point in this race, Ross bragged about the fuel. We'll see when that, I think that might be on the second pit stop here, when that happens very shortly. We'll see, continue to see people fighting it through. Turnboy third right now, then you're next to him fourth. We've got the dude right behind him. You see if the dude can manage to push on. Because right now he's currently in fourth. He's 2 places ahead of Honey Badger. Honey Badger at this point in time losing 4 points to the dude after gaining a ton. He gained 7 at the start. 4 points back would be enough to start to cut back into that. It would mean that Honey Badger would have closed the lead overall, but the dude wouldn't be too bothered by that. And he gets past the outside here against Nectar. Nectar can't be that far away from Pin. The dude goes a bit deep, and Nectar stays out again. And Nectar's going to provide a little bit of a buffer here between the dude and Tepos as we head down towards turn 1. As Tepos now goes to the inside of Nectar and makes that look very easy. And yeah, Nectar's now in a position where he's going to try this one stop, but I don't know if he's going to be able to get it done. It's going to be very interesting at the end of the day here. So the dude up in the fourth, he's got Tepos on the back of him, and then Turbo Boy is in the distance but visible nonetheless. And you've got the front two, Perry catching up to his teammate. Ross right now in the lead of this race as a whole. Everyone, I believe, is doing 2 stops minus Nectar. So everyone needs to serve another pit stop. So we are currently where we actually are in the race. This is exactly, there's no net positions at the moment. This is exactly how it's unfolding. And the two Porsches are a country mile clear of everyone else. You see that no one even popping into the distance here. It takes you to the entire length of the straight just to see Turbo Boy pop into visibility at the back. There we go, yeah, let's see what's happening here. Someone just lost another position, I think it was Nectar. Yeah, it was Nectar I think Chris just overtook Nectar there. Also, Bodnian not even close to Hasseldahl right now, but then when he has to get to him, he'll have to overtake him again. Which means Bodnian is having an absolute nightmare of a race today. You know, Honey Badger is in 6th right now, Tapos, no slouch either, who's currently in 5th, is doing enough as it stands to put a buffer between Dude and Honey Badger. Could be a very interesting proposition as we go toward the end of this one. As we go down the straight now, Turbo Boy lost out. Wait, what happened to Turbo Boy? Turbo Boy was in 3rd. We all saw that he was in 3rd, and then he, oh, he's gone deep. He's gone very deep. He just never got on the actual track to make a breaking point there. And the dude and Tepos will both go by here. No questions asked, and that is another car that the dude has put between him and Honey Badger. As they continue to bring that up, that's the championship battle right now. Here comes Turbo Boy, defending right to the inside there against Tepos. Tepos now looking to go to the inside, and there's a sweeping corner, and I think Turbo Boy may have forgotten about that. You can't really defend to the inside to start with and expect to hold the entire corner, and as a result, he hasn't been able to hold the entire corner. Tepos got in front. Looked like, oh, Turbo Boy again, just deep. Turbo Boy is just making mistake after mistake right now, and it's not one that he's going to be able to recover from at this rate. He's losing positions left, right, and centre, and he needs to be able to hold on to that 5th place for as long as he physically can, with the fact that he's got 2nd place in the championship directly behind him. Ross and Perry right on the back of each other now and comfortably ahead of Dude in 3rd. There is no real threat to these Porsches in this race at this point in time. It looks like, yeah, Ross is going to continue in control of this one for the moment in time. I'm actually going to see whether or not Perry's going to go for this. Perry looked to the inside. Perry doesn't go for it. And you can tell, you can't blame him for not being as aggressive with each other, being the fact that they're on the same team. But I guess, but certainly both drivers would want to win a race here. We'll see whether or not Perry goes for a move at some point here against his own teammate. They're both in the Porsches. They're both comfortably ahead of everyone else in this race. Perry to the inside now. Perry to the inside of the final corner. Will he have a good enough run? It looks like he might. It looks like he's got a good enough run on the exit. Here comes Ross to fight back though. Down the straight they go, side by side. Is it going to be good enough here for Ross to hold on, or is it going to be Perry down towards turn 1? And it looks like Ross on the inside line might be able to hold that inside line the entire way, and is going to be able to hold the inside line the entire way and holds off on Perry for just a little while longer. Perry also touching the grass a little bit, playing with fire a little bit in this one. As we are now on lap 11 and we're past the halfway point. And Perry again, you can see that Perry is just continuously looking for an opportunity, a little bit of a hole. Something that can realistically grant him the lead of this race. Ross is giving him absolutely nothing right now. There's no team orders here either. So it's just both of them are going to go flat out against each other for as long as they can. Here comes Ross on the outside. Ross going very deep into that corner, but still gets a better exit than Perry. And Perry likes the inside line of most of these corners. So it's definitely in a position to try and make something stick along the shorter line. And it doesn't look like it's happening there. Ross decided that he was also going to come over and for once cover that inside line, make it easy for him to not make that move. And he definitely needed to do something here because Perry looked like he's beginning to get an upper hand on Ross. Well, let's see what's going on in the... actually, no, we're going to continue to watch this because this is really close to the battle for the lead of the race. The guys behind are also really in a close battle as well. It looks like Honey Badger has got past Turbo Boy as Honey Badger is now back up into 5th. Perry is getting really, really close. No real move being chased right now. Then you got, Tepos is not that far in front. In 4th, Dude has managed to clear a little bit of a gap. Here comes Perry. It is a case of which one will work the best first. Is it going to be continuously the outside line, or will Perry get one of these inside lines to click? If he gets one of these inside lines to click, that might be the opportunity he needs. Here we go to the inside of turn 1. Here comes Perry. Will he be able to get it? No Ross to close off the inside line this time. And Perry on the inside will get this move for the lead of the race as Ross touches the grass. And that is a pretty good move. I was saying down the straight, he needed one of these inside lines to click. And he finally got one to click. Finally got one to actually stick, and he got it in the first corner of lap number 12. It's still him versus Ross, albeit Ross needs to come back at him now. Dude is very much clear of Tepos and the Honey Badger, who are fighting their way down the hill. Here comes Tepos and Honey Badger. Honey Badger on the outside, Tepos on the inside. Who's going to get a better run here? Tepos squeezing. I think there's a little bit of contact actually there between Tepos and Honey Badger, who squeezes that. Not that. That's certainly an interesting defense. I think that might have been a bit on the borderline. He definitely pushes him all the way out on the track. But Honey Badger does get by. Guess we can call that aggressive defending and using the entire width of the track and then some against Tepos, who I can only imagine is not best pleased with that attempt at a move. It looks like we've got a battle also happening directly behind us. Here comes Asseldor and Chris. Asseldor and Chris, those two are going fighting at it now, and Asseldor is going to get by on Chris here. Bosnian is a little bit off of these guys. And yeah, Honey Badger now in 4th. He's got the dude directly in front. Ross is just dropping off Perry a significant chunk. Perry is now in the lead of this race by at least a second or two. As they go through the final corner, Ross has made a few mistakes. And here comes Perry. Here comes Ross. And at this point, they both have the exact same amount of fuel. Dude also follows them in. Here comes Honey Badger as well. So does Tepos and Turbo. Is everyone coming in? No, Asseldor stays out. So Asseldor will assume the lead of the race for a short while. Chris comes in. Bosnian comes in. Our Baxid, the next guy on the lap, he is also diving his way into the pit. Dan the man and Nectar also there as well. We'll wait and see what is going on here. So Ross putting in 2% less fuel than Perry does here. Perry loves that little trick there with the inside curves. And yeah, well, Perry has a complete advantage on Ross here. Ross has put in a little bit in this. Oh, this was the infamous moment in the party on Monday night where Ross turns to us and says that he's come out of the pits with 2% less fuel. Well, he's got less fuel in the car than Perry. Let's see if that one's going to come back to bite him in the butt later on. And we've got Dude in 4th right now, with Tapos directly behind him. Bodnian somehow jumped his teammate. Can't imagine this being too long before Bodnian gets a team order from his teammate to get out of his way. Because we've seen the entire day that Bodnian's pace has not been up to scratch, especially when he has to actually overtake somebody. So it's a case of how much can his teammate believe that he's going to be able to drag him towards the front of this grid. Because you see Asselnor, who hasn't pit yet for the second time, who's out in front but needs to pit and will drop back behind, probably right in front of Bodnian here. We'll see what happens as Asselnor is almost certainly going to pit this lap. Yeah, he's about out of fuel. Perry's now under half fuel with about 4 or 5 laps left of this race to go. We've got 10 minutes left on the clock. And we've got Perry from Ross from the Dude, who is closing in on Ross as we go along as well. Here comes Asselnor. Asselnor on to a new set of sauces. He's going to put a little bit of fuel in as well. We'll see where he's going to be able to come out against the rest of the grid. But for now, Perry leads a comfortable lead in this race. Absolutely not challenged. After that pit stop, got himself, well, before that pit stop even, he got himself in front. And then started clearing a gap and a half to Ross. And, well, Perry is absolutely cleaning house right now. Ross in 2nd, Dude in 3rd. Dude's got a healthy gap to Tepos right now in 4th. Who's got Bodnian and Honey Badger right on his back. The two Mercs trying to make their way back through the grid after mistakes at the beginning of this race, and now trying to make their way through to the actual front of the grid where they were in the sprint. We'll see whether or not there's going to be anything to actually push here. It looks like Honey Badger is going to have to get past Bodnian at some point. Honey Badger is going to, well, Bodnian is going to have to let him through at some point here, I think. It'll certainly become that kind of game tonight at Blue Moon if the title, the Dude can't win the title here, I don't think. Yeah, no, he can't win the title on this race because Honey Badger won the sprint, so that is out the question tonight. Here comes Bodnian on the inside of Tapos. And Tapos got the corner wrong and was made to pay. Made to pay dearly there by Bodnian, who just launches it up the inside and gets it and sticks it. And gets himself up into 4th. And they're running out of time to catch, the Mercs are running out of time to catch the Dude here. We'll see whether or not there's going to be enough time for Honey Badger to end up getting a couple of positions here. He needs to get past Tapos, and then his teammate needs to get out of the way. We'll wait and see whether or not that is going to be the case later on, as we're now 33 minutes, through this race. We'll see as we continue down towards turn 1. Honey Badger is closing in on Tapos. But it's not closing in enough. Tapos is going to hold on to 5th for now. A little bit of grass there. For Honey Badger, a little bit of grass for Chris in the background as well. So he's two wheels in there. Tapos is definitely close. There's a spin! There's a spin in the background. I don't know who it's for. We're back about 10 seconds here. Chris gets a lot of that grass. We'll see whether or not that spin is for. As we head up the hill, we know it's... Oh, that's a line. That's a line. That's a line you don't want to take. You hit the inside of that curve, the beginning of that curve, and that curve is going to send you flying. There is no mistake on that one. It will send you absolutely flying. Or quite frankly, when you get sent flying, you don't really have a chance of staying in that car. You've got a wall there, and that usually means the end of anything good for you in this race. And particularly smack into that, you got damage, you go around, and it's not great. If you manage to get the car straight, you could get away with it, but that's not what Chris does here. So Chris is effectively out of this race as a whole. Also, Bodnian has cleared Hasselhoff quite drastically at this point as well, so no RCZ to overtake for the Mercs. No more nightmare for Bodnian. Tapos doing a huge job here on Honey Badger. Right now, it looks like a little bit of contact between the two, but Tapos is still there, and Tapos is still in front. Tapos doing enough right now to hold on to fifth for dear life. Here comes Honey Badger again, trying to fight it back. Bodnian gets on a little bit of grass on the exit into the final sector there. You can see in front of us the dude, Ross and Perry. They're all there. They're not that far in front anymore. And here comes Honey Badger to the outside, looking again on Tapos, looking for a better exit down the straight. He will get the better exit down the straight as well. As you say, Perry's saying that Tapos is defending like a lion. It's funny because he's defending like a lion against the lion, a roaring lion who's going to the outside here against the Dutch, against the Dutch guy Tapos on the inside, who manages to hold on just a little bit longer. Does an excellent defending there on the Dutch on the line of Honey Badger there. Team Rising Lion there on the front of the car for Honey Badger, the orange that's been on this car the entire time. Can he get past? Can he get past Tapos here? Can he get him? Honey Badger looking again, looking to the outside, looking to try on Tapos again, but Tapos is as much to Honey Badger as Hasselhoff was to Bodnian earlier on, and he is putting up one hell of a defense as well. And the guys at the front are slowly but surely coming back to us in this battle. All of a sudden, it's going to get a lot more interesting now. When we get to a bigger corner here, we'll go and see what the front of the grid is doing. Because Ross has overtaken Perry for the lead of this race. Ross has overtaken Perry for the lead of this race. So Ross has been doing a very good second stint here on the softs. Here comes Tapos versus Honey Badger again, and that's just straight up barging your way through. That's not acceptable. That is absolutely not how you make an overtake. That's just literally driving through the man, not round the man. And Honey Badger gets himself up to fifth. That is literally, yeah, you can't do that. You don't get away with that. He just drove straight through Tapos there. You can't get away with that. As much as I don't like Argy-Bargy, right? I don't like how we used to use Argy-Bargy in the league. But I do like the odd occasional you just give small little contact. As long as it's not like intentional to stop the momentum, etc., like certain people have been doing. If you want to watch the tier 3 stream, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of that. But I like a little bit of contact. You love a little bit, but you're not allowed to drive straight through somebody, which is exactly what Honey Badger just did. I feel sorry for Tapos there, because he was defending like an absolute madman. We've got a few of the guys at the front here. So we've got Ross leading from Perry on lap 17. And you got Dude, and then Bodnian, and then Honey Badger there as well. And it looks like we're going through, well, we'll go into 18 laps here for certain with these guys, especially at the front. And this front pack all the way to, I think that's the two fighting, I think that might be the RCZ boys. It is the RCZ boys fighting their way through right now in the middle of lap 17. Give these a little bit of love for the moment. I say for the moment because there's actually not an awful lot going on there in the end. It looks like the dude and Bodney, that might be a battle towards the end of this, as well as the battle for the lead. Ross versus Perry. Ross has the upper hand right now. Perry's got the inside line. And as we saw earlier on, Perry likes the inside lines. He needed to make one stick earlier. He got one at the beginning of 12. He now needs one at the beginning of 18. Is he going to get it? Is he going to get this? Ross currently in control of this race. You've got Dude against Bodnian as well. And the last thing Dude will want will be to give up a place to a Mercedes. Albeit he won't be too sad that it's the other Mercedes and not Honey Badger. As we continue on here, as we are about to enter the final lap of this race, about 30 seconds from the 40-minute mark. Ross and Perry down the line. They're going to make it to the 18th by guarantee. Here they're going to the line now. We're about 20 seconds away from the end of this race. And there you go. They're both over the line. Onto the 18th lap goes Dude. Over goes Bodnian as well. Will the Dude hold on here? Bodnian to the outside. Dude to the inside. That might be a little bit of contact there as well. I'm not entirely sure that is the greatest of defences, but it's still, I guess, on the borderline at the very least. Sorry, from the Dude here, and Bodnian gets it a little bit wrong. His teammates here as well. Is there going to be anything on between the Mercs as we head down toward the turn 5 on the final lap? And Bodnian is overtaken by Honey Badger. Bodnian has been overtaken by Honey Badger in all of this. And Dude going to defend now from Honey Badger as we go into the final lap of this race. Dude and Honey Badger side by side. They're still side by side, and that is a little bit of contact there as well. There's a lot more there than it made it look like on Dude's point of view, that's for sure. And Bodnian, look at that. Bodnian goes through as well, and Dude drops from 3rd to 5th. And there you go. Well, Honey Badger's got himself through. And what's happening here? Perry on the inside of Ross. We're on lap 18. It's the final lap of this race. Will Perry get to the outside and pass Ross here? Will he get by? He's gone deep. So that means he won't get him here. Ross is going to be able to defend for a little while longer. Is he going to be able to hold on? Ross is currently still in the lead of this race, but that fuel gauge is lower than Perry's is by precisely 2%. And Ross still in the lead of this race, takes the inside line, defends against Perry, does it with all his might. We're now in the final sector of this race. It has come down to one sector. Has Ross got enough to get over the line? Ross goes through the final chicane, a little bit of grass, and he's out of fuel! He's out of fuel! He's out of fuel! Oh my God, and Ross has run out of fuel, and how much? Is that 2% going to come back to bite him now? Oh, and Perry, there, over the line, and Perry wins without problem in the end. It's fighting his teammate the entire time, but his teammate unable to calculate the amount of fuel he actually needed. And Perry wins the race as a result. Honey Badger gets second, but I can't imagine there's going to be a few that go to the stewards there. Bosnian third, Dude fourth, Tepos fifth. Asseldor 6th, Ross gets 7th in the end after basically leading into the final corner. And then Turbo Boy gets 8th, Faxon 9th, Nectar 10th, Chris 11th, 12th is Dan. And Ross is going to rue the day he doesn't put in the 2%. And after all of that, right at the end, Ross shooting himself in the foot. Had a chance of winning a Tier 2 race, throws it by the wayside. And that, I said yesterday in the party, you weren't getting any mercy on me from me. We're now about 200 to 1 in score to Ross at this point. I'll take the ability to do this while I can. But yeah, Ross unable to take the win. He puts in too little fuel. Perry takes the win instead. I think we need, we're the steward, as a stewards may need to put out a thing for today. Because there's a few incidents there. A few incidents there. In particular, the one between Tepos and Honey Badger that is not acceptable. I get, right, you might have a little bit of brakes, a little bit worse brakes. You'll have better tires than the car you're driving against. You might have a little bit of deep corner and you hit them. That happens. But you can't quite literally drive through somebody to get a position. I'm not a fan of that. I'm definitely not a fan of that. I haven't seemed to be happening in a decent chunk in these tiers right now. I know Ross was getting particularly annoyed with a certain someone in the tier 3 stream as well. I just don't. I would like to see. Honey Badger is one of those guys. He's quick. He's extremely quick. He does not need to do it. Which is probably the most infuriating thing about all of this. He does not need to push past people. But still, nonetheless, Honey Badger closes in the gap. Let's have a look at the standings here as we go into the final race of the season. And it's 5 points separated Dude and Honey Badger. Dude currently on top. The constructors basically sorted. 18 points in favor of the Merc at the moment. And then you've got Bosnian 31 points back and Perry 41 points back. Therefore could technically, mathematically still win this. We'll see if that continues to be the case later on. But for now, that was tier 2 here at Kyoto. A lot of controversy, a lot of twists in the tail, and one extremely heartbreaking one for Ross in the end. And I will see you guys when I do the tier 5 stream in about 4 seconds time. But for tier 2, I'll see you guys before Friday in a bit.